The iPhone 16 newest design was just leaked. So let's take our first look at it, and of course, let's figure it out. Should we be excited for the iPhone 16? Let's talk about it. So, the iPhone 16 design was just leaked. We got our first look at the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus design. And it's quite classic one, because we got our first look at the cases available for these phones. And on the back, we can tell that these cases are having a new space for the camera bump. Yes, the camera bump on the iPhone 16, just like was rumored before, is going to be on a vertical position instead of being on a diagonal position. Right now, the iPhone 15 has their camera placement on a diagonal position. So imagine this is the wide lens and this is the ultra wide lens on the iPhone 15. Now, they will have it like this. So imagine that this camera does not exist and they will have on a vertical position. So what this means is that the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus will feature spatial video. Makes sense. Spatial video will be one of the biggest features for Apple Vision Pro. And next year or 2 years from now, when Apple decides to worldwide launch the Apple Vision Pro and make it a big thing everywhere, makes sense that Apple wants to launch an iPhone, a base model iPhone, with this feature and the capabilities to record spatial video. So yeah, makes sense that the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus design is going to change, going back to an iPhone XS or iPhone 11-like design. People were speculating that it could go back to the iPhone X-like camera bump, but now the most recent rumors and renders point out it to be more closely like the iPhone 12's design. And I kinda like it. I think it looks pretty cool, and if Apple decides to make cool colors for it, these renders look amazing, so I have no issues with it. Of course, there are more leaks for the iPhone 16 lineup. The iPhone 16 and 16 Plus won't get that big of a change. Again, the iPhone 15 was a huge upgrade from the iPhone 14. We got USB-C, we got Dynamic Island, oh my god, we got the 40 megapixel sensor on the iPhone 15. This for the base model, and we also got USB-C, almost forgot. So, all of these changes for the iPhone 15, the base model, are too much. People won't upgrade. So, changing the design and enabling spatial video, giving it the A17 Pro or even the A18 chip and calling it a day, seems kind of cool. And I think that having the same display, having the same design and the overall same look, but the differences on the camera bump will be different enough for people to know that you have the iPhone 16, but it won't be different enough for you not to buy the Pro models. But the Pro models, well, those are getting big changes next year. Yes, this is the tip of the spear from Apple, and Apple likes to put the best of their best technologies on their best iPhone, the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max. These iPhones are getting some new big upgrades. The iPhone 16 Pro is bumping up its display size from 6.1 inch to 6.3 inches, while the iPhone 16 Pro Max will go from 6.7 to 6.9. Nice. These iPhones are getting 0.2 inches bigger, and their bodies will grow to accompany these bigger displays. Yes, these iPhones will be bigger, bulkier. And here's the thing, do you want bigger iPhones? I certainly do not want to. I don't want a bigger iPhone than a 6.7 inch iPhone 15 Pro Max. I just think that this iPhone is big enough. Even bigger than this. What is Apple thinking? Will they make a huge iPhone and you won't be able to handle it without using two hands? Right now, one hand iPhone for me with the iPhone 16 Pro Max is kind of tough. Like, I cannot reach the four corners of the display with one hand. I need to use both hands to be comfortable. And if Apple decides to make an even bigger iPhone than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, they are pretty much crazy. People will think that this iPhone is too big. And I think that's the point. I think Apple wants to create the iPhone Ultra. The iPhone with the biggest display, bulky, the best features overall, the biggest cameras. While the iPhone 16 Pro will be a 6.3 inch display, so it will be bigger than the current 6.1 inch iPhone 15 Pro, and it will be on the intermediate between the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, so between the 6.1 and 6.7, a 6.3, 6.4 inch display. I think it will be the intermediate between these two sizes. And then what Apple can do in the next few models is differentiate between the Pro model and the Ultra model. I think that this year they will still call it the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max. But it would not surprise me in the future if Apple decides to separate these two models, create this iPhone 17, 18 Pro, and then the 18 Ultra. No Pro Max. I think Apple will simplify the lineup in the future. And it makes sense trying to separate and getting people used to it now with sizes bigger, but with bigger differences and completely ridiculous sizes like 6.9 inch displays and giving an intermediate size, a 6.3-inch display. A little bit bigger than the iPhone Pro model, the 6.1-inch, that some people think it's too small, and a little bit smaller than the iPhone Pro Max, which most of people think it's too big, and catering for most of Pro users. And then there's that small niche, there's those users that want the biggest iPhone, the biggest display, the biggest battery possible, and the best cameras available, and those will pay very, very much for an iPhone Ultra. Apple will increase the iPhone Ultra prices by a margin, I think. $1,500 would be my prediction. So, makes sense that Apple wants to differentiate the iPhone lineup even more. Create something for everyone. Create an iPhone that is a Pro model, it has the best features, but it's not too expensive, so around $1,000 normally, and give it a moderate size, 6.3 inches, is big enough for most people, creating a base model, the iPhone 15, the iPhone 15 Plus now, and of course in the future the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, and then of course maybe they will create the iPhone Ultra. These are the first stepping stones for that, and the iPhone 16 Pro lineup will show us the way. That's not just it, we are also getting better cameras. According to rumors, the iPhone Pro models are getting better cameras, especially a 40 megapixel ultra-wide camera, pretty cool. That would be a great thing because currently our ultra-wide lenses, they are not the best. In good lighting, they can take pretty incredible shots, but if you go into darker scenarios, into worst lighting conditions, you'll be kind of disappointed how much noise, how much artifacts you can get in your pictures. I wouldn't say that you would get that middle of the day, afternoon, no. But if you go into a pitch dark room, if you go into inside with poor lighting conditions, you will notice the ultra-wide camera degrading. And of course, video is a completely different story. Ultra-wide video on medium to low conditions is just trash. It's unusable. And if Apple can make a way better ultra-wide camera being much, much sharper and closer to the wide camera, the possibilities are endless to use this camera. Imagine having a 0.5x camera being able to zoom in into a 1x, 1.5x without losing any quality. You can create pretty amazing effects on your iPhone. That would be pretty cool for vloggers. That would be pretty cool for most people. So yes, better ultra-wides is just beneficial for most people. And trust me, if Apple puts a 40 megapixel ultra-wide camera on the next iPhone, I'm getting it. I just use the ultra-wide camera too much to think about it. A 40 megapixel sensor there will make the video sharper, the photos sharper, it will make it way more enticing. But that's not just it. When the iPhone 15 Pro Max was launched, Apple introduced the 5x telephoto on the Pro Max model. According to rumors, Apple is going to introduce the 5x telephoto on the Pro model, on the smaller iPhone. So yeah, if you enjoy the smaller iPhone and you want the 5x telephoto, next year you won't need to have to choose. So simply choose whatever size you want and you will get the 5x telephoto. Or you won't. Because here's the thing. According to rumors, Apple is also going to increase the zoom size on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Bigger telephoto, I don't know, maybe a spatial lens that can zoom in 10 times, 15 times, I'm not sure. And the rumors are also not sure. But here's the thing. If Apple keeps increasing the zoom capabilities on the telephoto of the Pro Max model, why? If you don't create an intermediate lens, so you have a focal length between the 1x and the 5x, then you have just crop zoom, so you don't have like optical zoom, you just have digital zoom. Well, your photos between 1x and 5x are crap. Even if you have the 40 megapixel sensor, which you can zoom in and not lose quality on the 2x, well, on the 3x you will, on the 4x you will. So, makes sense, just like Samsung did, create an intermediate telephoto between the wide camera and the super telephoto zoom camera that you will have. So, maybe a 4-camera system, just like Samsung's, is not a bad idea. That's something that I actually enjoyed a lot on the Samsung S24 Ultra, was that intermediate 3x telephoto that they had. I think they had a 3x and a 5x, or a 3x and a 10x, I don't remember well, but I think if it had a 3x and a 10x, that's a pretty cool one. Well, Apple could copy that. Apple could introduce 4 cameras, or they could increase the megapixel count on the wide camera, so it will be able to zoom in even further without the 2x, now 3x or 4x, and do it with a bigger sensor and not with another camera. Don't forget that the camera lenses on the iPhone are prime lenses, not zoom lenses. So you cannot zoom in on a single lens. You need to switch out between prime lenses so you have different focal lenses. So if Apple found a way to introduce a variable focal length zoom lens on the iPhone, that would be game-changing. Imagine a lens that can switch between 1x and 3x on the same lens. That would be revolutionary for a phone. That would be the start of the death of the mirrorless camera. That would be my thoughts. Again, I have a mirrorless camera. I have a Sony a6700 and it's a pretty great camera. I have a long-term review coming, so be excited for that. But the iPhone is more and more replacing our normal uses for a camera. Currently, if you're going to a vacation, most people don't take their cameras, they take their phones, especially their iPhones. Most people trust their camera on their iPhone with their life, with their memories of their life, with the memories of their loved ones. And that's something that Apple does not take lightly. So the cameras are always the most important part on iPhone launches, and I think this year won't be different, so expect big camera changes coming to the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max. As for the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, I don't see big changes coming again because on the iPhone 15 we got the 40 megapixel sensor, a huge leap for the base model iPhones. One of the features on the iPhone 15 Pro Max that was kinda a disappointment for me, or at least was too much hyped and did not have that much use, was the action button. The action button on the iPhone, let me see if I can focus for you, this thing right there, the action button, well, it's controversial. It's a nice feature, it's a customizable button on the iPhone that I think most people don't know how to use it, do not use it, and I don't think it's pretty useful for them. So this, I use it as a shutter button. I put my iPhone like this, turns on the camera, and I can take photos, shoot photos, just like this. So right now I'm pointing at myself. If I keep here, it will take photos. And this enables the camera. You can enable the torch light, you can enable silent mode, just like it was before. You can do some things, some cool things with the Shortcuts app, and it's useful. It's a customizable button. At the end of the day, it's another feature for the iPhone. And it's actually better than the ringer switch that you had before. But according to rumors, the action button is coming for the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, to the base model iPhones. So if it's coming to more iPhones, to more customers, I do believe developers will create more apps and more use cases for the action button. And maybe in the future, this becomes super useful, it will completely change my mind, and I will be able to use the action button on my 15 Pro Max, or whatever, in the future. Maybe it will be just like the always on display. The first year that I had it on my iPhone 14 Pro Max, did not use it, now it's always on, on my iPhone 15 Pro Max. Cool feature that Apple fixed later, and now developers have more incentives to use, because there's more iPhones using it. So, yeah, maybe just like Dynamic Island, the action button will be more useful with more iPhones using this feature. But here's the thing, the Pro models are also getting another button instead of the action button. So you have the action button, you can use it as a shutter button, but according to rumors, and they're actually pretty reliable, the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max are going to get a capture button. So a button with a placement right there that you can use to turn on video, shoot photos, press very firmly to shoot a photo, maybe press very lightly to shoot a video, or otherwise, maybe just touch it to focus on a different thing, just like have a mirrorless camera. The trigger on the mirrorless camera was one of the best features there. It just makes the experience more mechanical, more tactile, better in general. Just like a manual car against an automatic car. Makes it more mechanical, better feeling, more enjoyable for enthusiasts. Or it will be a capture button because it will capture spatial video for the Apple Vision Pro. I'm not sure. But I do believe that this is coming. It's going to be another feature to the iPhone. Remember when people thought that Apple will remove all of the physical buttons on the iPhone and make it completely buttonless? Well, we just got another button, the action button, and next year we'll get another one. So that leak aged like milk. Again, excited for that, excited to try it out. I do not promise that we like it. Just like the action button, it might be a complete gimmick or it might be game-changing. Lastly, these models will feature Wi-Fi 7, so a better Wi-Fi standard that is faster, has better range in general. That's always nice when Apple improves their Wi-Fi standard. And of course, it will have a faster chip. This has the A17 Pro chip. And we first got now our first benefits of having this very, very powerful chip. This has ray tracing, the first time ever on an iPhone. And oh my god, I've been playing Call of Duty Warzone for a while now on my iPhone, and I'm in love with it. Super fun, super powerful, the graphics are amazing, it does get hot, and I made a video about that. I recorded a full gaming test with the iPhone 15 Pro Max for Warzone. Go check it out, it's on my channel if you like that. I will leave it right there, I think. And yeah, it's amazing how fast it is. The graphics look console-like. It's almost like a PS4 game on your iPhone. If you have a controller and you connect it to an external display, it's a console gaming experience that is pretty unmatched on the smartphone sphere. So yes, having a chip that can focus more on gaming performance, more on graphics power, and especially more on computational power for the AI that is coming on iOS 18, that I also made a video about that, all the new AI features that you are going to see with iOS 18. I'm super excited for that. I can definitely tell that Apple created this A17 Pro chip not just for gaming, although that was one of the reasons, but all of this graphics power is definitely for AI coming out of iOS 18. So super excited for that, and I cannot wait for the WWDC 2024. Of course, iPhone 16 only comes on September, the second Tuesday of September. Mark your calendars. That will be one of the most exciting days of our Apple year. And of course, the iPhone event is always one of the best parts of this year. Again, I'm also expecting Apple Vision Pro updates in the near future. So yes, right now, are you more excited for the iPhone? Are you more excited for the Apple Vision Pro? And let me know in the comments below. Do you still care about the iPhone? Do you think it will be a relevant product in 3-4 years? Or do you think that the Apple Vision Pro lineup will be more relevant and it will take the spotlight from the iPhone? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel. Almost at 3,000 subscribers. Oh my god. Thank you guys. This is me, Tech Summer, talking to you here. Bye bye.